The following program is intended for a mature listening audience. Graphic and explicit language may be heard at times. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily express those of this station or sponsors. Listeners are advised that neither this station nor its owners and agents shall be held liable for the content of this program. Rebroadcast, redistributed or reused without express written permission by host or producer is not allowed.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Vixen'S Vault. Happy New Year to all those listening to Up to the Vault. We went on sabbatical about 2 weeks, a week prior to Christmas. So we basically covered, it was a 2 weeks, so we basically weren't on the air for Christmas or New Year. And man, so much crap happened in the last 2 weeks. Well, anyway, it's Wednesday, January the 7th, 2026. I can't even believe I'm saying 2026 already. And not only that, we're already a week into it. I don't know where time's going. It just seems like last week, I think it was Tuesday last week, Raphael was saying to me, don't you have a show tomorrow night? I'm like, no, we're on 2 weeks sabbatical, and here I am. I was thinking about that this afternoon. I'm like, where did the week go? What happened to the week? Because it just like blew by. I mean, the whole holiday blew by. But I did notice it was an interesting holiday this year. I noticed a lot of people going back to more traditional ways of being with the holiday and not so much the glitz. Even with trends in decorating, I noticed it was a lot more traditional, not so much technical. And because I always say that when I talk about like a lot of the decorations that are very advanced. In fact, I knew people locally. We have an area. We're in an area there's a lot of really well-to-do people. And they were using holograms and stuff for their Christmas decorations, which, that goes a bit to the extreme, but it seemed more like people were, how do I put this, more investing in their time and their personal relationships than into the commercialism of the holiday. And that made me smile, even though I'm not a Christian and I'm not a Jew with Hanukkah, and I mean, I'm not black with Kwanzaa. So but I am pagan, and we do celebrate the Yule, and the Yule is 12 days. But Yule is different. It's not. Yes, a lot of the Christian holiday is based on our Yule celebrations and some of the different, I guess you could say, ceremonial points of it. But the whole vibration of Yule is different. Why it exists is different than for the Christian holidays and the other established religions' holidays. And I kind of saw a move back into that traditionalism. Yule was about family. It was about basically the celebration of the sun moving out of the darkness and back into the light. And it had a lot to do with, actually a lot to do with agriculture and farming, because basically it's very hard to grow crops or keep animals at higher levels when it's too cold and the sun isn't out enough time. So it was a huge thing in ancient times when the sun actually started shifting back into more of a light during the day, a longer day. And, like I said, it's a celebration that's about family and about your neighborhood and about the people closest to you, the people in that time you would have survived with. So again, I was actually kind of pleased with what I saw surrounding me locally. I don't know about you guys, but even like the memes, because a lot of times the memes get really kind of crazy at Christmas time, and I saw a lot of really traditional memes. And I was like, wow. I mean, I've been online a very long time. This is like the first year I've kind of seen a real step back in time almost with the celebration of Christmas. And I thought that was needed. It really was, because it's become way too commercial and people get way too stressed around the holidays. Not
to
because
grow
it's not a beautiful
crops
time of
or
year,
keep animals
but
at
because
higher levels
there's an
when it's
expectation of what can be given and what can be gotten. And I think we've kind of lost the meaning of the entire holiday to that. And that's not a good thing. That being said, man, guys, wow. It's been a hell of a couple of weeks, hasn't it? Not just on the political front. I mean, I'm sure John Galt covered quite a bit of that, although a lot more has happened since John's show was on Sunday. And even tonight, there's still a lot more going on right now. Like, it seems like every 10 minutes I'm getting an update. But on the other side of things, I mean, our sun, the solar activity has been crazy. I don't know about you guys, but the weather, the sky has been different. And I've been posting, I'm sure some of the people here on Facebook with me are aware of this because you see my Facebook, but the sunsets and the cloud formations are beyond normal. And again, I'm a person who's watched the skies pretty much my entire life. I've never seen sunsets with these particular types of colors. In fact, I had taken a picture, I think it was like the day before, I think it was Christmas Eve, where several hours after sunset, it was like, I think it was like 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go outside, I thought there was a fire, but wasn't smelling smoke. I'm standing out front, and I'm looking around, and I can see multiple areas of bright red sky. I mean, I videoed it because I was like, what am I looking at right now? Because there's definitely not a fire. I mean, I looked on all the local fire sites, and not only that, but because of the fog this time of the year in our area, you would smell the smoke. It gets trapped in the fog. So it inundates the area if there's a fire with the fog around. Nope, no smell of smoke at all, not even a slight scent of it. And I mean, we're talking over where the sun sets to the west, which would be, for me, it's only like a half a mile to the water. I mean, it was like a brilliant glowing red. And I'm like, what the heck am I looking at? Kind of swung it around to show you guys also, or show people who could see the video, that there were other spots where it was glowing red, that like even to the east, directly east of us, the clouds were red, like glowing red. And I'm like, what am I seeing right now? I mean, I thought about, could it be refraction of light in the fog that's kind of causing this reddish hue? But again, I have lived here for a long time. I've been through all different types of fog banks here. I've never seen anything like that ever, especially not so high up in the sky. And then on top of that, our fog has been really weird. Like, even I was saying that to Raphael, I think we could just yesterday or day before, how thick the fog was and how it was, it's like chunky. Like, how do I explain it? It's like cottage cheese fog. That's the best way I can explain it. I mean, it's weird. It's really strange.
The pictures.
Oh, thank you.
Are beautiful.
Oh my God, the sunsets.
Yeah.
I mean, that I can almost attribute to the solar activity, because it does amp up our sunsets a little bit. But still,
I'm just looking at one of your pictures at the moment. The one that I made comments on the just before Christmas, I think. And I've seen in the UK, I've seen in red sunsets. I suppose in spring, occasionally. But it's not that common.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I live in a state where literally sunsets sell tourism. No joke. People come here for the sunrises and sunsets, because again, we're a peninsula and we have water on either side. So they're going to be spectacular at both sides, sunrise and sunset. I guess you could say the brilliance of the colors. I mean, we get incredible sunsets, that and the etching in the cloud systems. And that's what I said. I I have seen this several times now over the past couple of months where you get a streak, like an absolute, like almost like a perfect 90-degree angle in the clouds where it separates. Sometimes it's like blue sky from cloudy sky. And when I actually took the pictures that day because I'm like, okay, I'm done looking at this. I am going to post it and show people what I'm talking about when I talk about this stuff. Literally, that was a day where we had white clouds and darker clouds. And there was, it looked like a giant V in the sky where you had a separation of white puffy clouds that are supposed to be very rare. These like little, it looks like cloud poop, like little puffs of clouds, like in angled lines, and then like literally a complete 90-degree angle, and then dark clouds on the other side of that angle. It's like on the ground when I'm looking at it, it looks like almost like somebody took a ruler and went phew.
Yep.
And again, it's just not normal. I've been looking at the sky my whole life. And I know when I'm looking at something that could be the result. You have to look at upper level winds, lower level winds. We live again on a coastal area, and we have different systems within the Gulf of Mexico, tidal systems and everything else that actually affect our upper and lower level winds. So you have to keep all that in mind when you're looking at this stuff, but something's not right because it shouldn't be doing angles like that. I mean, I can understand the sun ray angles, and I've said that when you've got like a sunset where you've got the perfect V of the angles of the rays, that I understand. But these are clouds divided by perfect V's. I'm like, what the holy hell?
Yep.
And why am I seeing glowing red skies at 10:30 at night with no fire? There was nothing. And I'm looking out in the same area now. No glowing red sky. Couldn't explain that to you if I wanted to. I mean, it was like literally glowing.
Nancy, just out of curiosity, what at this time of the year, what time does it get dark?
Sunset, we are now moving into, like, we're totally dark by about 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you have to understand that Eastern Standard is kind of not really a good way to measure sunset time because the further north you go, there's a difference in time. So, in other words, it's the same time as it is here, but the difference of the sunset. As you go further north, you guys you're getting lighter faster than we are.
Yeah, we're going out a bit more east than Florida. So where I'm at in the Philadelphia region, our sun is absolutely down by 5:15. I mean, it's dark out there by 5:20. Yeah, see, we were at right before December 21st, like December 17th, 18th, 19th. 5:15, 5:30. And we know this, Rafi and I know this because our chickens literally wait till that sun is crested. Like all you can see is this little yellow light, and then they hop their happy butts into their hen house. They will not stay outside of the hen house if it is dark. And Rafi sets a timer on his phone at about what time sunset is so he knows to go out and bolt the hen house so nothing can get in there. So it's I've definitely we definitely are still setting early. I mean, but I would say now it's probably between 6 o'clock, 6:15 p.m. Definitely not in the 5 o'clock range anymore. We're out of that range as far as sunset goes. But I will say the sunrise is not. I'm not noticing it's coming up later. It's still kind of the same time as it was pre the 21st. So I find that interesting too. I also find it interesting that we've got these ridiculous fog banks that are occurring like every day, every morning. And yes, Florida, okay, don't get me wrong. Florida is known for its fog banks. Dave Campione can back me up on that. We're absolutely known for our pea soup thick fog.
But
fog all weekend. Oh, first 2 weeks we had fog. Socked in
that's
up
what
here.
I'm saying. Dave, I mean, usually with fog, you know how fog works. I know how fog works. We all know when we're going to get fog, because usually with fog, it means that there is a cold front sitting out over the Gulf of Mexico and it's hitting warm water, but it hasn't quite hit us yet. So basically, we're getting the fog roll in because of that combination of different effects within the Gulf. But there's no cold front sitting in the Gulf of Mexico. Not currently, and we're getting like ridiculously thick fog. Like, I can already tell you right now where I'm at, I can't see it the other side of the street. It's already closing in.
Plus, wouldn't you kind of agree that where you're at in Florida on the west side, Tampa Bay-ish area, that because the ocean is, it goes, you have to really go far for it to start going down. It's not like up here on the Jersey Shore where you go out and it just starts getting real deep. Do you think because it's like that, it doesn't get as crazy with the waves, as the other side of Florida, and that can affect that maybe?
Or you mean, are you talking about tidal, or are you talking about
like the choppiness of it all? Like,
no. We're protected by the Gulf Stream, so we actually have a current called the Gulf Stream current. That's what actually keeps us kind of protected from the Atlantic style currents or the Atlantic style waves. Although we do get them. Like, if there's a storm in the Gulf, yeehaw, you can surf. I know, because my son's done it many times.
I actually went to school in Florida, and I also can tell you too, like, you have the Atlantic Ocean, which is cold water, and then a lot of people don't know the Gulf is actually warm water. So
I've never noticed that.
Oh yeah, the Gulf of Mexico, we call it the bathtub, because during the summertime it'll get upwards of 94, 95 degrees in the Gulf of Mexico if you're close to shore. Now, further out into the Gulf, it's not that hot. You'll have the 80s, but in towards shore, that's what makes us so ripe for hurricane hits, because hot water is like gasoline to an engine when it comes to hurricanes. That's why you see a lot of massive storms build in the Gulf, because the Gulf at that point in time is usually anywhere between 80 and 94 degrees, depending on where you're at. It is a bathtub, literally. But it's funny because the Atlantic side is colder.
Sorry, I was just thinking the cliche of London being foggy compared to what you would imagine Florida to be.
Oh God! I mean, we can't compare to like your fogs that have literally killed people because it trapped all the noxious freaking fumes of industry into the city. It literally asphyxiated people, I believe. But I mean, we can't compare to that kind of fog. But I got to tell you, man, driving in Florida, it's hard enough to drive in Florida because we got our mixtures of idiot drivers who don't know what they're doing, and drivers who should not have a driver's license. Literally. And all three are on the road at the same time, competitively. It's awesome. You throw fog into that, oh, honey, it is game on. It's worse than ice. It is literally worse than ice. I mean, it is like I took Raphael's truck the other day because I had to drive all the way down to my son's house to get his kids. And I looked at him, I said, we are fogged in. I'm taking your truck. Because I'd rather get hit in that truck than get hit in my Tucson. I mean, if I'm going to get hit, the Taco can take it. The Tucson, not so much. And I
can still remember my first time driving down there. I threw on my defogger, thinking that's what it was, and it didn't work. So I threw on my wipers, and sure enough, I mean, forget fog. I was in a cloud. I couldn't see the bumper in front of me. It was about 5:45. I had to go to a really early appointment. How about that? That was the very first time, and I was by myself because my girlfriend happened to be on a trip. So I got off the plane, and I was down there for like the first 3 days. Because normally, if I'm not comfortable in a new city, I won't drive for the first month. I'll sit in the passenger seat until I feel comfortable. Then I'll drive. But I had to that time. And wow, I was tripped out. I said, son of a gun, that ish is on the outside.
Yep. And now imagine, actually, some of the worst pileups in the history of the country have occurred in Florida during the fog. No joke. No. Because we have retarded drivers in Florida from all over the world. It's not just our people. Our people are kind of hillbilly. I will state that, quite honestly. You have your hillbillies.
Everyone's transplanted there from somewhere else, so they're all used to where they came from.
Oh,
well,
no,
you have your northeastern. Oh, the ones that are native are definitely hillbilly, and I don't blame them.
I was there.
But you have like the transplants from the Northeast, and you can always tell a Northeasterner. It doesn't have to have a Northeasterner tag. You can tell them when they're in the rental cars. You know who they are. You know why? They actually obey the traffic laws. That's why. They actually, without any commenting from cars next to them, like they understand that when you're at a yield entering onto a highway, you get into a situation where if it's traffic logged, one goes, then you let a car on the straightaway go, then another one melds in. It's a one go. It's a stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. You let incoming traffic in. Otherwise, you cause what? Road rage.
I live here right on. David Campione will tell you this. Where we live, right here, like in the Philadelphia region, on the border of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, you got Pennsylvania drivers that it's very simple. You see a yield sign, you kind of merge together. You let the other guy go first. You cross the Delaware River over into New Jersey, and I swear these folks do not know. They either don't know how to yield or they don't care or whatever.
But they do understand. They do understand bumper to bumper. They do get that because they will pull their front bumper as close as they possibly can to the car in front of them, so you cannot get in. It's just that, and I think Florida is probably tandem drivers. I have never in my life seen any state. I've been all over this country. I have never seen tandem drivers as bad as they are in Florida. It's like they do it on purpose. You'll get, 7:30 in the morning. I usually have my doctor's appointments at like 8:15, so my ass has got to be on the road by 7 to get there. I will, no joke, every time on a 55-mile-an-hour highway, I'll get stuck behind 3 idiots who think it's cool to do 40 in tandem on a 55-mile-an-hour freaking highway. And it's like,
they'll pull you over for that.
I didn't want to get there anytime in the next 2 hours. Really, I didn't. Thank you to making all these people now late for work. Oh, and yeah, road rage. Awesome. I understand why people get road rage.
Love it. It's all cool.
And and the thing is Roger, Florida actually had to pass minimum speed limit laws because we have so many retards that come here from other states who drive at 20 miles an hour on our interstates. We had to literally pass minimum speed limit laws where you can get pulled over and fined just as much as you can for speeding, for going under the speed limit.
It's not just that. You got the AARP lobby making sure that the drivers that should be driving can still drive.
Got to bring the AARP in there.
Just to give you guys an idea.
You say the other word.
To give you guys an idea. But to give you an idea of how bad Florida is, my grandmother, when she was 92, before we took her license, the family took her license, she got renewed by the DMV for 7 years in Florida.
They get lifetime
at 92.
Now. They get lifetime now. Yeah, if you're over a certain age, you can get a lifetime driver's license and never have to take a test again.
I wonder if that was may end next day.
I was going to say, I got to wonder if that was post-COVID. But there again, I got to be careful with what I'm saying, right, Mark? No, not really. But again,
Sometimes it's so bad. You'll be passing somebody on the interstate, driving 45, and you look over, and it's a little old lady with Coke bottle glasses sitting on a bunch of telephone books.
Oh, guys, I got to find a video. One of my friends posted. I have got to post this in here. I got to find a way to do it. I don't know if y'all have Facebook, but I can't rip it from Facebook while I'm on there. But it's literally a guy driving over the Courtney Campbell Bridge, which is a main connecting bridge from Tampa to Pinellas County here in Florida, and it goes right over the water. It's almost like a beach bridge, and this idiot had blown his freaking hood. Had blown open. So his hood is up over his windshield, and he's literally, it's a little old man. He's driving, looking through the hole between the hood and the oh my God. And he's driving like across the Courtney Campbell, which Rafi can testify to this. They use it as a raceway at night. okay? Because it is like a crazy bridge. Yep, and here's this guy, just a little old man, driving it with his hood up over his windshield. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's definitely a Florida man. Yep. All right, guys, with that, I got to take us out to our first break of 2026. Ding, 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 ding. Hang in there. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on the last 2 weeks outside of crazy drivers, weird sunsets, and weird cloud formations. Hang in there, guys. We will be back with the Vixen's Vault in just a few moments.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Jason. Oh, I love those expressions, man. You're like, I was dying laughing. I got Jersey Mike's here, and I took a bite, and you're making these faces, and I about choked a couple times. I'm like,
it's because he can see your Jersey Mike's subway, dude.
I think he was reliving driving in the Florida fog because that shit is scary, man.
Absolutely
scary. It's scary. You can't see anything.
The very first time you realize, that it's on the outside. I'm thinking, just throw on the defogger. No, throw on the windshield wipers and then leave it on every 10 minutes or 10
and then
seconds.
you got to deal with the idiots who use their bright lights in the fog. And that is a big problem
I didn't
down
see
here.
any of that, thank God. I didn't. Thank goodness.
I just had a check, and in the UK, when you turn 70, you have to have a driving. You have to renew your driving license every 3 years.
Yep, in Florida. Okay, so my current driver's license is on an 8-year renewal. I just renewed it last year. I'm 55. I think that's fair, but I can tell you that when I go to renew again, it'll be another 8-year renewal. But I can tell you that once you're over the hood of 60, 65, you got your reflexes start slowing down. Things start slowing down. Your eyesight gets worse. I mean, there are lots of like my mom's in her 80s now, and she will not drive at night because she understands that her vision is affected at night. Like she doesn't see as well. And so she knows, but she's self-regulating, saying, okay, I know better. I am not driving at night. Raphael can tell you we've gone down and picked my parents up to do things because she cannot drive at night. She will not.
Well, I think
she's smart.
Self-regulating is a bad term to be saying when it comes to elderly.
Well, but again, down here, because most of our population is elderly, I mean, we are literally the graveyard of the country besides Arizona. We are literally where people come to retire and die. No joke. Graveyard of...
I think it should be required for the DMV to make sure that your
Nancy,
underclothes are on the inside.
You got like 2.5 minutes if you want to take and figure out how to share for the screen.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, let me see. This is the funniest video. I was peeing myself laughing because it's totally Florida.
Well, you just gotta make sure your underclothes are on the inside of your clothes when you go take these tests. That should be a requisite.
Yes. See,
because
Vicky gets it.
Sometimes, my mom.
Right.
Yeah, we would hear things about. Okay, make sure her clothes are on her.
That's almost as good as make sure you have clean underwear. Come on.
That's something I have an issue with. I mean, God.
Oh my God, Roger! Please don't tell us you do the reversible ones.
No, I don't even reverse them.
Oh my
God.
Roger just orders them dirty.
I just, you know what I mean?
He gets them from Willie, is what he does.
No, Willie.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He gets them from Willie. Because
you get underwear is
Willie. It's supposed to be used for fish bait, Roger.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
You get your underwear from Willie?
No, if I did, I would go fishing with it.
I was going to say fish bait. What are the pee jugs for?
The pee jugs, don't touch those, man. You'll get somebody pregnant.
I was going to say not fish bait.
No, he empties them out to take and make it into rocket juice.
Mm-hmm.
So for when he goes up
Seriously?
into space, yeah, he blends it down. Monkey pee, human pee.
I know pee. Crazy. I know. Well, I shouldn't even say crazy, but I know odd people that do odd things.
Well,
yeah.
You know, guys, this is really sad. When I try to pull it up to see if somebody posted this video to YouTube, It pulls up like 8 different occasions where Florida drivers have been filmed with their hood over their windshields. That's like
All right.
scary.
Here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3,
Is that on the driving test?
1. And you're live and back on the radio side right now.
Oh my God, folks. Welcome back to the Vixen's Vault. Today's date, January. The what? January the 7th, 2026. It's kind of nice, though, that the first month of 2026 actually goes by the 7-day format of a week. So we can kind of keep track of things. We know that next Wednesday will be the 14th. That's kind of, I always like it when it works out like that. But it's funny because while we were on break, I was trying to find the video of that idiot driver in Tampa. I might have to post the Facebook link for everybody. I don't know who has Facebook, who doesn't, but Vicky said something about, basically, is that on the driver's test? And I have to laugh because literally what I was looking at when I typed into Google Florida driver hood over windshield video, and of course it gives you Google gives you the AI overview, and it says, in Florida, it's illegal for a driver to have their hood over their windshield because it obstructs the view, violating Florida Statute 316.2004, which prohibits non-transparent material from obscuring the driver's view of the highway. They had to pass a law in Florida that you cannot drive with your hood over your windshield. What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Scary. That's scary.
I have to laugh at Florida, though. Go ahead.
Some old model trucks have, where it's hanging over 12 inches, maybe the roof over the front of the windshield. I don't know if that counts.
No, dude, this guy's hood was blown back, like his engine was exposed, and he was looking through the tiny hole.
Word. Never mind. I got to say the hood. I'm thinking something totally. All right, never mind.
It was like
sun visor.
Earlier,
couldn't believe it.
Video that was showing new technology, I think from LG, and they brought out a glass which is that can superimpose augmented reality, and the planets. One of the plans is to actually install that onto the windscreen of self-automated cars. So instead of seeing the reality, you are seeing this sort of.
This isn't augmented, dude. I wish this was augmented. It's I wish. I'm gonna pop. I got the link. It's actually a group on Facebook called Only in Florida. For people like me who love making fun of my own kind here in Florida, because we are easy to make fun of.
While you're on there, search for women pumping gas.
Oh God!
Into electric cars.
Must I?
Go for
Oh my God!
Is that come around there?
I'll bet you some of the young men pumping gas is funnier.
Women pumping gas is some of the coolest videos you could ever find on the internet, dude.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Never mind. I'm thinking, they don't know how to pump. It's funny. I know what you're talking about.
What am I talking about?
Oh no, what are you?
It's around the area there,
Like it's legend. I mean, if you've been on the internet,
single X. That's what you're talking about. Not double or triple X. Oh, 1X.
You know.
All right, so
I
put the link into the chat, guys. Go click the link if you've got Facebook. It's literally, and they actually did from Vacation Holiday Road. That's the music they added to the video. It totally fits. It really fits. But oh God, how embarrassing.
Yes.
But that is not like I said. This is not something
hilarious.
that you. Are you watching it?
Yes.
And the guy, look how annoyed he looks when the guy he realizes he's being filmed. It's like he looks at the other driver like, "Why are you filming me?" Well, I don't know, because you look like a complete retard driving down the road with your hood on your freaking windshield.
Music for it too.
Oh my God! But okay, guys. So again, even just today, I can just round up today. So today we had a lot of crazy things go down today, and We did have the Minneapolis or the Minnesota event. I don't know if that was Minneapolis proper or not, but you had the shooting there.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did shoot somebody. Yeah.
Oh, God. And, it's funny because it's like the Democrats and the socialists must have bought up all the ad space on Facebook, because I am getting, like, inundated with ads from liberal-minded organizations that I don't belong to, basically protesting how she was murdered. And I'm like, wait, so that was a murder, but Ashley Babbitt, who was unarmed, climbed into a window and got shot when she wasn't near anybody. That was okay. But this woman who literally, the front view, I don't know if y'all have seen all of the film related to this, but there is a front view angle of what occurred. All the press is showing the side view angle, and the women's screaming, "Murder! Stop that officer! Arrest him for murder! Stop him! Don't let him get away!" Which would have been really bad if anybody had tried, because you cannot obstruct a law enforcement officer, no matter what you think. But from the front angle, the woman hit him. Like, people can say all they want. She hit him with the car, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, you can't do that, sweetheart. You can't. And not only that, but she was obstructing, like, traffic, and this was like the 4th intersection she had done this on. I mean, she 1,000%. She was ordered to get out of the vehicle multiple times for obstructing traffic. She was obstructing actually what ICE was doing at that time. So many things that you can say, yeah, no, if that was anybody else in the world, you wouldn't have a problem with it. If it was anywhere else in the world, you would have a problem with it. But because of the circumstances of the politics, you're going to probably make this ICE officer's life a living hell. When he was justified, that was a justifiable shoot. I don't know any law enforcement organization that would have said it was not a justified shoot as soon as that car made contact with his body.
Yeah, you can. It's just a matter of you're exercising judgment at that point.
Yep, I agree with you. But like I said, it was.
Sorry, Nancy. Talking about judgment, I was watching a video that was done by an American lawyer that was released earlier today, and this American lawyer is extremely left wing. He was using terms like Gestapo and using all the Orange Man bad arguments over this one, and in this country we'd have been struck off from the bar if he used that commentary, but I've not really seen reviewed the entire story as yet, so again, I'm just being
well, I can tell you that it's there's been a fermented movement here in the States that basically how do I put this? It's programming certain parts of our society to think that they can do whatever they want no matter the situation if they think they're right. And that means not obeying lawful orders by law enforcement. That means putting their hands on or going after law enforcement and expecting absolutely nothing to happen. No. I don't understand how this is how I don't get. And then they try to spin the narrative to make it look like that officer deserves punishment, and it's like, no, dude, that's no.
There's more going on too. Like, a lot of people don't take into consideration that there's a red pill movement that's taking place, and like this is also pushed back on the red pills, because if you take a look at this story and you compare it to that one woman who literally ran a dude down that was her ex and left him to die in a snowbank and got away with it. And then everybody said, oh, that's perfectly fine because, you know what, he was alive when she left him. Well, she's the one that put him in the snowbank.
No. I would never, and I don't care if you're what political stance you have, you don't hit somebody with a vehicle intentionally unless, like I said, in Florida, like when you have protesters that obstruct, okay, so in other words, they're obstructing traffic, they're obstructing everything, or they're putting you in danger. Because with the Antifa protests, that brought up a very good point, that a lot of these crowds were very violent towards innocent people in vehicles just trying to get from A to B. And we had several occasions in Tampa and in Miami where
Do
people
you remember
were hurt.
Charlottesville? Remember,
Yeah.
Charlottesville was the very first time that was a big thing in the news, and they had a very, very dramatic picture on the front page of, I think it was either the New York Times or the New York Post, and it ended up being a lot of Photoshop, but I guess that's neither here nor there. But and they had strategically made it so there would be a choke point so that the supporters of Black Lives Matters and the supporters of the Trump folks would have to meet up with Antifa, and there would be nothing other than a fight in which they stood down. They already had the plans to stand down, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. They were bussed in by the same company, the same exact bus. They were bussed in from about 6 hours away. And the same company bussed in Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the Trump supporters. But it just reminds me, because that was a lot of people lost their channels over that. Red Ice lost their channel just after that.
It's and like I said, in Florida, they did pass a law. Ron DeSantis passed a law basically stating that if you were stuck in the middle of one of these protests and you have an emergency, you're trying to get to a medical facility, or B, you are in danger. I mean, in danger. Like they're rocking your car, they're doing whatever. You can hit your gas. In Florida, it's legal. You can run them over because they're already breaking a freaking law, protesting in the middle of the streets without permits or anything else. They're already breaking laws. And they're obstructing, like I said.
Falls under the stand your ground law. Just
it does.
Pistol.
It does. That's exactly why they did it. Yep.
That's the way protests should be. Like, I call all these protesters today just a bunch of pussies. Because, like, back in the day when it was cool, people got out there, police beat them with nightsticks. They didn't go down to the courthouse to ask for permission where they can walk. That's a bunch of pussy shit, dude. Be a man.
I was going to say, in Florida, you either do that or you risk getting run over. And they did, the reason they passed that law wasn't even really because of the civilians and the people who were being impacted and attacked by these crowds. It wasn't really because of that. It was because of the 911 vehicles. Because they were literally blocking entire major roads, and the 911 vehicles were not able to get through. And that's a huge problem.
I would just respect somebody a lot more if they didn't go to the courthouse to get permission to go out there and walk wherever the city said that they should. I mean, if you want me to believe what you have to say, get your ass out there and do it without the city's permissions. And if you get run over by a car, dude, that means that you freaking actually were standing up for something you believe in, okay? You weren't freaking doing exactly what you're told to do by the city and the council and all this,
Yep.
That's definitely an argument.
Yeah, but what about those trucks, those people in the trucks, that the people stop them and then they pull the truck driver out and, beat them down?
That's a riot.
Well, that was part of the problem too, Roger. A lot of the Antifa quote-unquote protests were not protests. They were frickin' riots.
Yeah,
they were. Whenever Antifa gets involved, and I'm not saying this because I sometimes believe that Antifa has been infiltrated by the government and it's used for its own purposes to create its own things.
Almost always they're infiltrated by government. It's almost always started by agent provocateurs.
Correct.
The moment you go down and fill out petitions at the courthouse, you're an agent provocateur.
Well, Antifa doesn't do that, but they are retards when it comes to the internet.
Provocateurs that are paid. That's their job. Agent provocateurs.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I personally witnessed that at the Charlotte riots. I was stationed. I was over there sent over by one of the multinational security investigative agencies, and anyway, long story short is the BLM guys, they were peaceful. They were doing their peaceful walk, marching through town, and they stopped downtown and they sat around and did some prayers and stuff. And then all of a sudden, as the sun started going down, out came all these little white kids and emo punk outfits with backpacks with bats and skateboards sticking out of the back of it. You could tell they were there to cause they were up to no good. And no sooner did I get there, they started looking at me like I was a cop, and they're like, "Well, did we start or not?" They weren't sure if they're going to, try to start something in front of me. Yeah, everybody says I look like a cop, so yeah.
Yeah, I always told you that. There's no missing that with you. There's no missing that with you. But it's a situation where, you're obviously, the American people, they need us divided. They 100% needed us divided. They absolutely cannot have us all on the same page, because if we are all on the same page, it's usually not going to be for their benefit. It's usually what's going to unite people is going to be everybody has a lightning bolt moment or a flash, a light bulb moment, and says, well, wait a minute, where is all of our tax money going? Wait a minute. Why am I paying income tax when Minnesota just gave away, multiple billions of dollars to Somalia, or actually Somaliland if you do the homework. But I mean, literally, this is problematic. But today, like I said, we had you had the first thing I woke up this morning, you had the information about the Russian tanker that the American helicopters had taken over, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, literally, I posted back to somebody, am I the only person who is actually critically thinking right now and saying, yeah, in what reality would a Russian oil tanker with a submarine escort be so easily boarded and Russia wouldn't react?
This is very interesting, because now you've got 16 other Venezuelan ships that have done the same thing, thinking on the template of, well, you can't do this to all 16 of us, or will you? Because why that first one, you may know this, you may not, but the listeners may not. That first one was going to be, captured, turned around, whatever, and it made its way out. It made its way further out till it was all the way across the Atlantic just about, and way up north, interestingly enough, probably 1,000 miles or whatever east of like the southern tip of Greenland, not far up there, but by Scandinavia, close enough. And yeah, that was the first one that raised it, and I still don't know what they've done with that, and I guess the other 15 got the idea after that. So this it will be interesting to see how that transpires.
Like I said, and I kept warning people over the weekend that the United States was moving major assets into the United Kingdom. Big time assets, and I'm like, why are they moving all these assets into the United Kingdom? And of course, Raphael's response is that Ukraine, and which was a good response. Then you think, is it the Middle East? Are they just going to buttress over into the Middle East? What are they doing in the United Kingdom? Well, it turned out the United Kingdom was working in sync with the United States to take that Russian tanker. But again, I have to caution people, before you take this on its face, understand that there was a Russian submarine shadowing this tanker, escorting this tanker, and it did absolutely nothing.
Well,
and that
there's nothing for it to do with a helicopter. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, there was also
didn't it do something by just being there?
It literally, it just kind of sat there, which it did absolutely nothing. Which is, it was a military
what I mean is
sub.
Just by being there, isn't it doing something by just its presence alone?
Correct.
Yeah.
But then
it's a scarecrow. Sorry.
Well, you have the fact that Russia.
What would happen? What would happen if the submarine did go into action? That would create go from a situation into a major international situation. But
it was already an international situation.
But it'd be larger.
True.
Larger.
Yeah. But we made it an international situation when we went ahead and, number one, went after that tanker in international waters. Number two, did it in conjunction with the UK. So we made it international to begin with.
So
correct. We made it international.
Successful. Yeah, we took a couple of them.
But what I'm saying again, though, is here's Putin exercise. Here's Putin exercising all this ridiculous restraint. Like, I keep saying this. Nobody's listening to me. I keep saying Ukraine, all this shit. He is exercising insane restraint. Okay,
Yep.
by any standard, which tells me there's more here than meets the freaking eye. There is something else going on. Putin just called back all of his diplomats from Iran. He just basically had them empty out the Iranian embassy of Russian diplomats. He did that this morning also. Again, something is going on. That makes no sense because Russia has always bolstered Iran in all situations.
You've got
and
stuff popping off in Yemen now. You've got, the UAE and what's going on with Saudi Arabia. I mean, most people know that they fought the good fight Yemen for 15 years. There was 20 million people on standby. That would have been the largest starvation in the history of recorded starvations. But something is real weird because that wasn't happening just a few days ago where I'm seeing Toyota trucks after Toyota truck after Toyota truck with AAA stuff mounted in the back. And then here's this real quick. I'll be brief. I mean, I got 5 different reasons here, and not all 5 reasons as one, but the first reason for going into Venezuela, wanting to flip its regime, was the fentanyl. The second reason, you stole our oil. Somehow our oil, went under Texas and ended up under there. The third reason, the last election wasn't legit, like we did with Libya and Saddam Hussein, etc. Then it was, swish of the pen, law of the land, weapons of mass destruction. Now fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction. Yep. Here's the thing. So they go in, they get Maduro. Now this is Maduro's captured. He's given us the 2 thumbs up in more than one photo with the cuffs on. And Trump is on TV doing about a 40-minute debriefing and says during it, one of the very first things he says is cocaine money was the backbone of the Venezuelan economy. And I'm thinking, you didn't have to come up with a 5th reason, especially cocaine, when that's not the weapon of mass destruction, or the first reason. There's the very first thing I thought was Colombia. Watch out! Real quick, 2 things. I don't think Raphael. Let me know. Have you ever seen this? Because I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever seen 20% of our Navy go anywhere and hang out for a couple months without flipping a government or doing something major. I've never seen them do that, hang out for 3 or 4 months, and then turn around. Then I got to thinking, well, why not kill 2 birds at one stone if you're Trump and you're already doing might is right? Colombia is right there. You already have complete control over all the you've had it for the poppy over Afghanistan, and now you've got it with the fentanyl. That's why you left Afghanistan. If you have Colombia, my word, now you've got all 90% anyway of the cocaine.
It's not going to be Colombia.
No.
It's going to be Cuba. It's going to be Cuba.
You know what's super close there too? Super close, and he's already targeted it before. The Panama Canal.
Mexico, Panama Canal, but Cuba is going to be first, and I can tell you that for a fact.
But
because
he'll take Cuba, he'll take the canal first to cut off the Chinese from helping.
That might be the case. I know.
Oh yeah,
I know.
I was
the day
in Panama,
he took...
Nancy. I was in Panama when we invaded Panama, and who was the biggest groups there? Cuba
Chinese.
and China.
Yep.
No other countries down there helped Noriega but those 2.
Well, I know the day of the operation when they took Maduro, there's so many things going on here, but in Florida and in Colorado, there were multiple Cuban assets, military assets, here illegally that were arrested. Okay? Large groups in Florida and in Colorado. Over 50% of the fatalities in Caracas were Cuban.
Yeah, 32
and I'm like,
of them.
Oh boy, that's a map. They're showing us a map. Okay, so we know Cuba was intricately involved down in Venezuela somehow. Now,
I don't know if I believe that. It could be true. I mean, but
I think they were.
Everything.
Yeah, 32. The Cubans were the bodyguards, and there were 32 of them which they killed.
Sure, it wasn't 33.
They're 80. Yeah, no shit, right? They were 80. Apparently, they were 80 in total. 40, about 40 of them died in their sleep. The rest of them were the military, the Cubans that got whacked, and the some other military personnel that were manning the air defense. But
you said they worked with the Cubans worked with them to fund the Black Lives Matter. I'm just saying.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what bothered me. We're really initially when this occurred, I got very bothered because I had done my homework on Maduro's opposition, Machado, and I don't like Machado at all. Like, she is a Zionist in a huge way, and I don't ascribe to the Zionism at all. And it was interesting because, again, I said this to Raphael. Bibi Netanyahu was the first world leader that was praising Trump for him going in. But then, like 2 hours after that, because I had actually said it on Facebook, my biggest problem with this is that they're going to try to usher Machado into power. And then it's just basically we've just given Venezuela to Israel. No, it cannot play out like that.
They're going to cut us off, Nancy.
Well, oh, God. Guys, got to take us out to our bigger break. We will be back with the Vixen's Vault in about 10 minutes. Hang in there. Thank you, Dave.
There you go. Damn. I was worried. I was going like, come on.
Man. I know. I saw Mark's right hand.
I can't see the texting. And it's really weird. If you're dropping things in text, I can't see it until after the fact.
You got to look at the... see? I'm going like this.
Well, I was still on a main screen though because I was looking for the video of the man.
She got excited. Yeah. She got excited.
But
that's what
here's my thing.
David's supposed to come in there. He's the assistant associate
EO
producer
of Timekeepers.
Well, when you said Cuban, Nancy got all flustered and everything.
Oh, actually, I could go for a Cuban, but literally, my point with Machado was like 2 hours. I want a Cuban sandwich. Yeah. I want a Cuban sandwich. Damn it!
Cigar.
No,
yeah. But it's funny because my point was
Monte Cristos are delicious.
Took Raph like 2 seconds.
Yeah, actually.
You want a BLM
sandwich? Au jus, man. Au jus.
Till this kills completely out, and then when we do, I'm going to bring us right back into this room. Okay.
What I was, my point was before we went off was that with Machado, within 2 hours of Trump going live, he was doing this huge presser, and one of the things he specifically mentioned was that he was not going to put Machado in power. He said it point blank, her name, all of it, and I was like, oh crap, he just cock-blocked Bibi. Oh boy, this is getting interesting.
It's bad enough. Now, Bibi has Presidente in Mexico. All right, folks, I'm going to bring us right back. Hold on to your horses. We'll be there. I got to take and get us reset up and hope I can get everybody back, before the break is over. It's been great. Hoping everybody has a great time out there. And I'm going to take and get Nancy and the crew back. Rav, Jason, David.
There we are. President.
Larry wants you to talk about gun control laws or new gun laws in Facebook.
Okay. Which ones? The ones that
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think I know what he's talking about.
I guess.
Yep, I think they were part of the big beautiful bill, if I remember right. Hang on, I got to go. I was just looking at that. That's so funny. I'll pass it to Nancy. Federal.
I almost forgot to tell you about that, but hey.
Yeah, I see it.
I got a lot on.
Hang on, I'm sorry.
Did you guys check out Censorship Sucks tonight?
No, I did not.
I'm so proud of Brent. Brent made freaking those guys butt hurt, dude, like you wouldn't believe. He just said it like it was. And
he always does.
I disagree with some of the stuff Brent says, but man, when he said what he said tonight, he was right on target.
Yeah, Brent wants to invade Mexico.
I told you guys.
Other than that,
I've told you guys they're going to invade Mexico. We're going into Mexico. We have guys literally down there already. It's going to happen.
This came out in the 1990s when they came out with that environmental climate video, and I keep telling everybody to watch that, because if you watch it and you compare it to what's going on today, it's word for word. It's textbook what they're doing.
Just on two of your previous points, both yours and Jason, Nancy's and Jason's, as far as the UAE and Saudi Arabia is concerned, I can see that's just been a flash in the pan situation. I mean, the issue happened last week, and we've not really heard very much about it since. As far as Russia coming out of Iran, well, Iran is the IRGC's going to fall any minute now. It's fairly obvious. And I can see Russia wanting to steer away from that sort of situation completely.
Well, if we're lucky, they'll go.
Did I hear that right?
Funny.
You think the
I was watching Canadian news last night.
IRGC, Islamic Republic. Yeah, that's going to fall any minute. I've been watching actions. I've been watching videos from a British Iranian commentator of the last two. Well, I've been watching him for a long time now, but especially over the last 2-3 weeks. And he posts every single day. And the IRGC. This is the end of the Republic of Iran.
They've got protesters out with machine guns in front.
I guess they wouldn't say much about that on press TV, but I mean, to not hear anything about it on press TV.
Oh, no. Iran for the last week. Yeah, for the last week, they are going. I mean, they had to literally abandon 3 of their cities in the past 2 days because of the protests. It's bad over there. Yep. It's way bad.
See, these guys aren't pissies. They got machine guns.
Popped up in the last week.
These are real protests.
Okay, I got
the
you.
protesters have machine guns and stuff. And they're like, we're about ready to kill you, mother uppers.
You better believe those are MEK or other CIA and Mossad backed.
If we're lucky, they'll go back.
They are Mossad backed.
Well, I guess Mark Edworthy thinks they're completely organic. Maybe it is. It's possibility. You know what I mean? In the past, it's almost never been. Real quick, when they did Tanzania and it went all the way into Egypt with their spring, the Egyptian spring or whatever, and then the Arab Spring, and then it got to Egypt, and I was telling my brothers, "Are you guys seeing this on TV?" This is before I did any of this type of research. I said Egypt's flipped their government, and within 12 hours, it was like, no. Your Arab Spring is great. We love it. But no. We got the Suez Canal. We're not having that up to here. But, as far as Libya, we had our agent provocateurs in there. They're I don't know. That's been the past anyway.
Here's my kind of take on things.
It's all Mossad. It's all spurred by Mossad.
Here's kind of where I view it.
Right.
This is where I'm thinking.
You're military saying that. Not military, but you are.
It's
and the thing is, though, there was one of the previous administration officials they actually said something like Merry Christmas to Iran and Mossad agents or some shit in the area. I don't know if y'all ever came across that tweet, but that interview, whatever it was, but basically it's confirmation that they know Mossad is lit the candle on this thing.
Yeah, they don't just sit home and do nothing. I mean, the Mossad and the CIA do work out in the field, and that's the type of work that they do.
It's worth noting that domestic Iran has been going through a Cold War, civil Cold War for the last 25 minminimum years. Arguably,
there's a Persian. There's actually a Persian movement where they're getting tired of the Muslims. What's going to happen here is going to be they're going to break away from this whole Muslim bullshit entirely.
Did you guys see on the news? I was watching some Persian. Canadian news last night that Canada and England are are very afraid that this is going to be the end of NATO since since we invaded Venezuela, because he already was talking about Greenland, and the Canadians are worried that they're going to be the 51st state too.
Well, it's interesting you say that about NATO, and this is why, because that Monroe Doctrine and the whole talk about that, there's something Trump forgot to say when he brought up the Monroe Doctrine. It's not just the half of the Monroe Doctrine that said, okay, we have two big oceans, you do your thing over there, if you have wars, you fight them, we don't want to sign any pacts. Likewise, we don't need your help, we don't want to sign any pacts with you coming over here. Yes, I understand the part. If you come over here and set up shop, we're going to take that as an act of war. But then that would mean we don't have pacts saying we'll come to their safety.
30 seconds.
That would mean not only no NATO, but no League of Nations prior to that. No connection at the hip to Israel, certainly. He forgets to mention that part. That's a good 60% of it.
Yeah. Anyways, we're getting ready, and here it comes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are back live on the radio side for the second hour of the first show of your first show this year, right now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Vixen'S Vault, Wednesday, January 7th. 10:05 p.m. We are in the year 2026. Can you believe it? And it's already flying by. Of course it is. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Man, that was a lively break. I couldn't get a word in edgewise, but it's all good because now I got the mic. Ha! But we talked about all sorts of different things, including Greenland, which is another interesting situation. We'll just call it a situation that's occurring right now. And it's funny because earlier this afternoon, it was announced that, what is it, Denmark? Or is it Finland? Finland. Which one runs? Denmark. It's Finland. Denmark. Finland is actually called. Denmark. Is it Denmark?
Yeah. Denmark.
I was right.
Finland, yeah. Or Greenland, I mean.
Okay, yes. Good. Denmark. So Denmark has actually called for a meeting with Marco Rubio to discuss Greenland. So I think that's very, very interesting because, for the right price, I think they'd sell anything. And I think they only have a population of like 30,000 in Greenland. So it's not like you're mass affecting a population. I understand the strategic need for it, but more than that, I think there's probably assets under Greenland that they're not talking about. But that being said, I want to point out a few things. One, Russia pulling out of Iran. Something that I had made note of with Russia sitting off the coast of Venezuela, multiple Russian subs and different marine military vehicles sitting off of the coast of Venezuela, allowed Maduro to be taken, allowed everything to happen. And our guys went in there on radar, folks. You have to understand that. Yes, they took out the anti-aircraft postings, I guess you could say, but strangely enough, most of that stuff was not working to begin with. And that was all Russian stuff. Although, if you listen to the mainstream media, they're going to tell you that the anti-aircraft was provided by China.
I can give you a better breakdown.
Hold on. Let me finish my breakdown. Thank you. So, basically, I have questioned on multiple occasions now. There's something else going on here. Yep. And I had theorized with Venezuela. If Russia and China signed on to this thing with Trump, and said, we're going to stand down, we're going to let you take Maduro. I think Maduro turned state witness, to be very honest with you, because of the way things occurred, the photographic moments. The fact that, he changed clothing multiple times. And we were watching his entire deportation occur in real time, which doesn't happen with the political
changing the clothes
prisoner.
Multiple. The one, did you see the one blue hoodie he had on it had some kind of logo, like it was a brand name. I just thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, probably nothing, but it was kind of just interesting to me.
Yeah, 4 wardrobe changes in 17 hours. Yeah.
Yep. But
photos of the thumbs up with the cups. And did you notice how many DEA jackets? It's almost like they made sure, hold on, we can't see the DEA on the front of your jacket, the front of your jacket, and the front of your jacket.
Because they wanted you to know that it was...
there was 19 of them.
push forward the fact that it was, because again,
they're showing
the rhetoric
he must have done drugs. He must have sold drugs if there's 14,000 DEA agents around him.
They're running on the rhetoric. The whole reason they're saying that this was
the
a
narrative they're trying to say.
God.
Jason, let her speak.
Can I finish my sentence?
You said rhetoric. All right.
They're running on the fact that, number one, they went in after him with basically an indictment out of the lower Manhattan of New York court system, which is one of the most liberal court systems in the country. He was indicted in 2020. Okay. Under, again, the Biden administration, believe it or not, with the incoming, literally a liberal judge indicted him on a grand jury in the most liberal area in the country, indicted Maduro, which, number one, should have told you something's up. So they execute this indictment under Trump. That was why you're seeing the DEA so prevalent, because they have to sell that thought process. This was a law enforcement thing. This was not the military. This was not a takeover. This was a law enforcement execution of an indictment. That is what they want to sell this as. I still have problems with that. I think the whole thing is a script. One, do a little homework. Do a little homework on Maduro. In fact, Vicky will know what I'm talking about because I posted it to her in the Vixen'S Vault in Telegram. One of the things you got to know. One of the things you got to know about Maduro.
Not so much Maduro, but how Venezuela ran.
This is personally about Maduro.
The military.
Let me finish. It's not about. It is about Maduro personally. It's about his history. It's about his background. Maduro in 2013 made it very clear to anybody listening publicly that his lineage is Sepharically Jewish. Okay? The Sephoric Jews come out of the Spanish Portugal area. They're Zionists.
So he said that in
two ways about it.
Now how?
No, but then he goes on. Listen, you got to learn I think people need to learn what a red herring is, because they play us with it every damn time.
I'm more than familiar with red herrings.
Because I think Mandami is a red herring. Mandami is saying one thing and doing certain things because they need him to do it as scripted. So why? So people figure out that they're freaking morons and they elected a socialist. And that nothing he said, because it's going to prove that socialism is a bad thing. He's a plant. And I think Maduro was a plant.
Whoever sits in the seat of presidency in Venezuela has to juggle parts of the military that don't really control the entire military. The cartels, whether they admit it or not, they do have a say in that government, and they do have to also be very with finesse juggling what their version of the Congress is.
So that's how do you take the car out?
Let's take like 10 seconds.
No.
Maduro no good to run because they would have looked at him as weak and they would have killed him.
Let me finish.
How can you finish?
Let me
I was
finish.
The one talking.
No, I'm still trying to finish what I started.
Listen, you did nothing but talk.
Listen, let me finish what I'm saying, okay? Literally, Maduro, when you take it at face value and you think about it, if I was in intelligence, how would I play this? Okay, I got to get the cartel out of power. Why? Because the cartel is it's blocking the World Bank from doing what it wants to do. They have to work in sync with the cartel to get it done. In other words, they're not in control. It's a shared thing with the World Bank. So how do you?
That wasn't my point, but I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
No, how do you nail the cartel? How do you get in there and infiltrate that kind of money? You put in a leader that basically plays their game. He's a plant. Because literally, who's the next up? Who's the next up for bat? Machado. Machado is a flaming freaking Zionist. Okay? You have literally the former ruler who claimed the bloodlines, the Sephoric bloodlines, but he's anti-Semitic somehow? You don't claim. I don't know any Sephoric Jews that claim their bloodlines who are anti-Semitic. That's completely ridiculous to even think. That's retarded. Sephoric bloodlines are very specific. So, like I said, you do a little homework and it's like, wait a minute, now I'm uncomfortable. I've got Russia and China pulling back, not doing shit. I had the Chinese meeting with Maduro right before he was taken out, like an hour before he was taken out. That's just that doesn't work with me either. You got Russia pulling out of Iran. Okay, so that's all of their oil, supposedly. Supposedly Russia gets their oil from Iran and Venezuela. and they're going to pull out of both places? No, I'm sorry. It sounds to me like there is a backroom deal made for OPEC.
You're making an assumption that the current leader of Venezuela will be the next.
I'm
president.
thinking. I don't think she will be. I think they're pushing her. I'm thinking
there will be elections within the next.
Correct.
I doubt that. No, that's not going to happen because, like, first of all, like I'm hearing a whole bunch of narratives being thrown around. Okay, and that's what it basically comes down to. But the thing of it is it's the crime, and the reason that I'm kind of split down the middle when it comes to Venezuela because it's something that really needed to be done, and there's a whole lot of politics involved in it. But the truth of the matter is this is where the criminal elements are coming from that are pushing these immigrants, illegal aliens that everybody has such a problem with up into the United States. Get rid of that problem and we won't have to be talking about this crazy shit that's going on.
I don't disagree, but I do believe that their constitution in Venezuela needs to be followed. I believe that, yes, if we got to hold the placemaker while they get their elections set up, that's fine. We can do that for a short stint. But they need to have duly and non-Smartmatic Dominion related elections, because you guys forget Smartmatic and Dominion, all of their server software comes out of Venezuela originally. And the fact that they just put these little reflection, London Smartmatic, Palm Beach Smartmatic. No, that's bullshit. Smartmatic came out of it was invented in frickin' Venezuela. It was written in Venezuela. Of course, Venezuela is where it's housed. Chavez used it in his election. Maduro used it in his election, and they sold it worldwide to other countries, which is another thing I find very interesting about this. Because guess what? Bibi Netanyahu won an election in 2022 that he should never have won, and his own country knows it. That's why they were protesting him. Because they know there was a crap ton of corruption and a really funky monkey election that occurred. How many funky monkey elections can you guys remember now over the last couple of years? There's been quite a few of them. Forget the United States. We had our 2020 experience. Yeah, they're going to get nailed for that, but that's why I think Maduro is state's witness. Because I think there's going to be multiple governments that are going to have to pay. It's going to come out.
I just don't feel that Venezuela deserves that level of importance. It's like this whole thing.
They do. Their people do.
I mean, their people do, yeah, but politically they mean nothing. Like on a global level, they mean absolutely nothing.
Of course they do. They're sitting on some of the largest oil reserves in the world.
And we've been without Venezuela.
Not to mention gold and silver deposits.
It's more than that, guys. Can I put pipe in here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's more going on than that. One of the things that pushed that I'm convinced that Trump pushed Trump to pull that trigger is that he had to get them under control because they were converting over to SIPs. And that's basically the Chinese version of the SWIFT banking network. Basically, if they would have completely converted over to SIPs and to the BRICS, they would have basically destroyed any conversion of Venezuelan oil to the U.S. dollar. Forget the fact that that China was helping redevelop their infrastructure. Yeah. But the most important part is that they could not allow all that oil to be sold in anything other than dollars. The petrodollar status completely hinges on that, and we are already on life support. We couldn't have taken that blow. And again, they have the oil, they have the gold, and on the way out, China took like I can't remember what it was. They said like some 2,000 metric tons of silver. On the way out, bars of silver.
Yep. I still think I do believe we're going to end up in basically a world divided into 7 pieces. You and I talked about this, Raphael. I think you agree with me on this. We're going to see 7 superpowers, basically, and that's going to be it. I almost think that has to happen if we want to maintain peace, because we are way too fractured on this planet. And there's way too much, and it's funny, I got an argument with somebody today over socialism and how socialist the United States is. And, my one thing, in fact, I wanted to make this point too before I forget. When we had Brett Kavanaugh Kavanaugh. What is his last name? Why can't I remember it right now?
Hamachek.
There we go. Why am I thinking Kavanaugh?
Supreme Court Justice.
Because that's a Supreme Court justice. That's why. When we had him on, and he asked me the question, well, even if conspiracy theorists are right, what does that change anything? Yeah, it could have changed quite a few things, because my point was, and I think I put it in the chat after the show, was that if John F. Kennedy was proven to be assassinated by internal methods within the United States, the CIA, was Lyndon B. Johnson involved, which if the CIA was, he certainly was. If that's proven to be fact and goes mainstream, we have a serious constitutional problem, because every president elected after that would be considered a coup. Every president elected into power post-Kennedy is invalidated. Every law passed by the Supreme Court is invalidated. Why? Because you were ruled under a non-legal government. And that, I can tell you for a fact, I know I'm right. I've asked several different lawyers, 2 of them constitutional lawyers. I know I'm right on this, which is why they've never flat out come out and said that John F. Kennedy was assassinated by connections to LBJ or anything. They can't. It would literally undo every bit of law that has occurred within this country, every elected official within this country for the last 50 years. All of it.
Cool.
So
bring it on.
Exactly. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Well, that's why I'm saying. That's why I said, though, don't tell me that conspiracy. What would it change, even if you're right? Don't tell me that, because it would change a hell of a lot, knowing I'm right.
There's something else, too. After that interview you did, do you mind if I kind of say something else? I kind of
No, go for it.
No, Brent mentioned this whole fact that, we got socialism here in the United States, but we might as well just live with it, and he took that kind of attitude in that, and I found that pretty disturbing, and the reason why is because I see a lot of people taking that attitude, especially when it comes to us being a constitutional government, and that goes not only with socialism, but this nationalist movement that keeps coming up and popping up. Everybody has this misconception of what a constitution is and what nationalism is, as well as socialism. So I found that very disturbing,
Well, that leads to what a rebuttal I had to somebody today on that fact, because we were discussing socialism, and they made the point that, listen, our national parks are socialist, our military is socialist. I mean, they made the point of, different areas within our government that are socialistically run. I said, yeah, our national parks are post office. That's another one. And I was like, when piece by piece it tore it up, I was like, so our national parks are socialist. We get taxed out the yin yang, so we can pay for our national parks. Those national parks.
So they can steal them from us.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, you have to pay admission to get into the national parks on the same breath. So that's not actually, number one, socialism by definition is government that runs without taxation. Look it up. So it doesn't work. You cannot have taxation and collection of fees from the general public and call yourself socialist. It's not socialism. Socialism is supposed to function without taxation.
Right. The other one is fascism.
Yep.
Fascism has taxes.
Well, I've got my theories on that too, though. Fascism is developed off because of socialism. First, they develop, they start a socialist society, and then fascism piggybacks.
But here's the fun part, guys. We're double screwed here in the States. Why? Because we're frickin' retards. Because we put on our shirts that say red, white, and blue, we're constitutional republic, and you can't do that, but they do it anyway, and they just don't tell you about it until you're either getting arrested or paying out the yin yang for it. So here's the thing. Capitalism. All right, so we have now mushed capitalism in with socialism, just kind of like they did in the Scandinavian countries. But we don't get benefit from it. We pay taxes for our national parks, and yet we pay fees to get into our national parks. Yet our national parks are always begging for money. Where's all the money going? This is my question. Interstates. Most of our states now you have to pay tolls to drive on the rolls.
I hate it when Bigfoot invests all that currency into Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Dude, dude.
Yeah, I know. That sucks.
It's again. I'm basically saying we're paying all this money. We're not questioning what form of government we are, and yet we're not seeing the results of the money anywhere.
But
your educational system, flat broke.
It sort of works in Scandinavia.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah.
Look what happened. They got run over by their big hearts, which they got completely. I feel bad for the people of Scandinavia because they got sold a bunch of junk.
Those are Vikings.
You know,
don't call them kind hearts. What are you talking
They got
about?
neutered somewhere in time there, Roger. They somehow our Vikings got neutered. I don't know how it happened. Their horns got buffed. I don't know what happened. But
you need to listen to the Viking music and let that blood.
I mean, they are literally. Their women are getting raped to hell over there, and they're like, "Oh, it's her fault."
That's the way Vikings are supposed to.
It doesn't make any sense, though. What happened?
But
the
again,
Vikings took their women, dude. They didn't freaking ask for permission. What the heck?
I think the Vikings they were in Scotland, but then Scotland got all pussified too. So did Ireland. I don't know what the hell has happened to our people that we used to look up to.
Ireland. I'm gonna tell you something about Ireland now. If Ireland would rule the world if freaking they didn't invent beer, dude. I'm just saying, dude.
That's true.
Alcohol in general, brother. Alcohol in general.
They would literally rule the world.
An
if
Irishman walked into a bar.
But I mean, it's
all right.
If you think about
there,
it,
Nancy.
Oh, I see it. All right, guys, I am going to take us out to our final break of the evening. God, time is flying by tonight. We shall return. I'm going to continue on this Irish thing. Hang in there. We'll be right back with the Vixen's Vault. But think about it. I mean,
we're on break. We're on break, guys.
Okay.
Hey, we're on break.
So you have the Scandinavian countries who took in all those immigrants, and it totally destroyed their economies. Mm-hmm. I mean, it destroyed their economies in a huge way. But they were working this finite balance. And they were never fully socialist. They were always a capitalistic, socialistic, like they ran socialism on the social level and capitalism on the economic level, which was intelligent. It kind of worked for their smaller populations. But once you started expanding that population, it doesn't work. That's why it would never work here. We have too large of a population. It cannot work here. And we are way too corrupt.
Actually, there was two things that has broken Scandinavia. The immigration issue and also the net zero issue.
Yep.
Yeah,
oh my God, but that's all part and parcel. But I will tell you guys too, Trump today, in the middle of all this shit, he was dropping all these freaking orders. Oh my God, I'm like, holy shit. He basically neutered BlackRock in a huge way. He basically put a law in place that is disallowing them from buying residential properties.
Oh, because REITs. Yeah, you shut it down.
Shut them down. Them and Blackstone. Blackstone fell off a cliff on the stock market.
Wow.
So,
really? I didn't know.
Yep. So big yay! Finally, somebody's getting this crap under control. And then on top of that, what was the second thing he did? He did a second thing where I was like, "What the holy hell is he doing? He's cockblocking everybody." Oh my God, I'm in love. Because it's like, pay attention to this, but don't watch when we're just gonna. We're going to wait to a huge news day and then do all these big things that really impact the American people in a good way.
You said
that was it.
like 3 times tonight, dude.
Because I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome.
You know what that
means.
He's
doing it.
Right? You know what that
I
means.
do. I think it's awesome. But again, I got to connect BlackRock where it needs to be connected. The guy, Larry Fink, the guy that runs BlackRock, is an emeritus professor at Beijing University. BlackRock goes right back to China in many ways. So, be realistic, folks. And I hate it when they sit there and say, well, they're working under the rules of capitalism. No, they're not. They're dodging antitrust laws is what they're doing. I mean, what did I say to the one guy that was arguing with me? I was like, basically Blackstone and BlackRock are like having all these like interfamily relationships and producing children that are going to be warped and retarded because they share executives like it's a sex party. No joke.
Where's
the platforms? I want to see it.
Oh, it's on Facebook. It was literally on my Facebook. I mean, I was going back and forth.
Where they're like having deformed babies and stuff. I want to.
No, but literally,
I don't care about the rest of that.
Blackstone came out of BlackRock. It was, and I said that it was formed in order to avoid the antitrust laws, and it's like you can see it plain as day because they share executives.
Well, I've mentioned some more scarier stuff than that about these guys, and everybody just kind of shrugs about it. But like when I was just talking about wetware, okay, that's BlackRock. When you talk about Cortical Labs and CL1 and Brain Dish Project, that's all BlackRock as well.
Yep.
Again, there's other companies like the say to you yesterday.
CL1 is an experiment. Okay, it's not a company. It's an actual experiment. That was the first.
I mean, the developer called Cortical.
I know, but CL1. CL1 is the one that actually started all of it off. Cortical Labs is the one who started it. Yes, it is. This brain is where it actually started, and then it came from there over to CL1.
I think you find there is several companies.
All right, get ready to go back, guys and gals. All right?
It's alrighty.
Are you in here?
3, 2, 1, and you're live right now.
I'm here.
Okay.
And we're back. It's 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January the 7th, 2026, and it's been a rough and rowdy break as usual, as Mark is shouting our time countdown and people are talking as we're shouting. And by the way, yes, Raphael is still here.
That's a neat trick.
The second thing I wanted to mention, besides the BlackRock complete neutering, is that he also neutered DoD contractors, which I was like, oh, crap. He literally put into place that DoD executives cannot, or I want to know if it was executives or contractors in the whole, cannot exceed the $5 million marker unless they are making great strides in innovation that's provable. I was like, oh, that Lockheed Martin stock went right off a cliff.
It's to curtail a lot of the fraud that's going on. I mean, look what the cost overruns were on the F-35 alone.
Yep, but this is what I mean. He's taking steps that should have been taken decades ago.
Yep.
And it's taken. These DoD guys are taking big hits, but they should be because they've been eating fat off our bones for 50, 60 years now, easily. I mean, and nobody's done a damn thing to stop them. In fact, if anything, they've been encouraged. So, like I said, all this crap going on that makes you hate Trump, and then he's putting these things in play that are really helping us. So it's like, okay, are we supposed to be distracted so the liberal press doesn't jump on this other stuff because they're not gonna publish the fact that he just neutered BlackRock and threw the DoD into the fire? I think it's, like I said, a lot is happening. A lot is happening. And it's not just here either. It's all over the world. Like a lot of movements happening militarily. A lot of things are occurring that they don't seem to make sense. So I think and now we're heading into a precipice. Like they're starting to spool up the whole World War III. Russia's going to, China's going to, no. And, Vicki and I are both going to tell you guys, we were told this was coming.
Yep.
We were freaking 1,000% told, I can't tell you how many times, that this was coming and not to panic.
Right.
Just let it play out.
Happening with the silver and everything else messing with
everything. We were told all this was going to happen. Yeah. I know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well,
every single step that's happened.
Where is that actually at? That's on like any legitimate.
4 banks have closed their silver desk, so what they call it, they've gone dark, is what they call it. Mm-hmm. And 4 out of the 8 major banks, and J.P. Morgan couldn't make the deliveries. They basically the market called on their futures, and they couldn't fulfill. So, and then to top it all off, China has cut off export of any silver. and even Mexico has stopped issuing what do you call it? Not expedition.
Exportation.
Exportation.
Yeah. No, they're just searching for silver. Exploration. I guess exploration permits. Whatever. I can't. I'm so tired. My brain's not working.
Yeah.
Exportation.
But you know what I'm saying. There's no new mines they're gonna be going developing in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But we get to have the Venezuela's silver and the smelting.
Also, it's not just about silver. I'm just looking at the Google result. Nickel, copper, tin, titanium, and other.
All at once. And what is that always a precursor to? Do you know, Mark? Because I know. Every time that has happened, we have had a catastrophic failure of the economic system. Right. Every time it's happened. So, yep, it's coming. But two other things I want to point out before we get off and running again that happened within the last couple of days that the Trump administration did. One, they turned the food pyramid upside down, which, thank God. Thank you, Robert Kennedy Jr., for that one, because that food pyramid's been killing us. It has been killing us for generations now. Grain. And now nobody has working intestines. Why? Because we have genetically modified grain in our freaking intestines, tough the yin yang.
Yeah.
But now
and tearing holes in our guts.
Yep. Leaky gut syndrome.
Leaky guts.
Yep.
You guys are sick.
It's the truth.
You're sick. Stop talking like that. That makes me sick.
We are sick.
Oh my
you
God.
have no idea.
We had that occur. Hold on one second. Raphael's a little too close to me.
Stop it.
Sorry about the feedback. Okay, so we had the food pyramid officially flipped upside down, literally. And then on top of that, yesterday, they done slashed the hell out of the vaccine agenda, the required vaccine. Like, they literally took it from 77 doses down to, I think it's like, now we're at 31, and they're looking to take it down to 11.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is huge. Again, the things that have been poisoning us slowly over time. And it might be, I think it is different overseas. I know they were saying that the European nations, there's only 12 or 11 required vaccinations. Here and that includes your doses. Here in the States, it's 77. And let me tell you, the crap that is in these vaccines, it is absolutely criminal. We're poisoning these children in a huge way.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, too, because this is Illinois. They're already coming back. They're wanting to strike out. They've started making commercials aimed at encouraging people to take the vaccines, and they've already got the legislation that they're pushing on the state level here. So
well, that's because a lot of people are going to take big fat hits on their big fat paychecks. Mm-hmm. I mean, pharma's going to take a hit. Go ahead, Rafi.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think it's fantastic that they've gone as far as they have, as reducing the number of vaccines. But I think they need to take it a step further and eliminate any mandates altogether, because it's got to come down to individual choice, informed consent. And if they don't want to take it, they shouldn't have to take it. It doesn't, whether to go to school or not, the taxes are already paid. There's no reason, it doesn't mean that you get to tell the people what the government gets to stick in your kids' bodies. There should be absolutely no mandate whatsoever to take any vaccines. And then that way, there's no arguments about the Amish or the Mennonites not taking the vaccines, and they get got to get a religious exemption and all this other BS. If I decide that I do not want my kids getting any vaccines, they shouldn't have to.
Correct.
I agree with you on that, and I think they don't tell you that a lot of the diseases kind of disappear with the sterilization. I mean, the modern medicine, a lot of reasons why a lot of these diseases kind of abated. Smallpox, what was the other one? Polio, some of these really nasty bugs, was mainly because we began sterilizing more and more. We began using more effective cleaning mechanisms within the actual medical system. And they don't tell you that. They really do not tell you that. But on top of that,
it's in everything too, though. Just not just medical, in everything. Like
that's really dangerous.
If you finish with the point, funnily enough, I heard a report just yesterday. Prevent the British state-run anti-terrorism sort of youth program. They've got actually they have training once a year. Prevent members have training once a year. This year they've made on the training program they've made so-called anti-vaxxers as potential terrorist activists.
Oh no way!
Well, yeah, because again,
that's terrible.
Here's the thing with vaccines: you have to look at whose pockets get lined by vaccinations. There are multiple industries that are going to be affected by this in the adverse way. Insurance being one, pharmaceutical being the top one, politicians getting kickbacks from the pharmaceutical, doctors, hospitals, all these places that have been paid off by Big Pharma. All the grants that go from our government to Big Pharma, where they only use part of it, but there's a kickback involved. There's so much money in these vaccinations, it's not funny. COVID was Go ahead.
You're going to be sued.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Business. Go ahead.
I mean, COVID.
I think Mark brought up a good point. I'm sorry. Mark brought up a great point about them targeting and labeling anti-vaxxers as some kind of domestic terrorism. That is a problem. You know, basically our governments have gotten out of control, and we've allowed them due to jingoism. We've allowed them to use labels to mark people that they don't agree with or that don't agree with them. You know, it doesn't matter if you're talking about vaccinations, constitutional nationalism. You know, that was during the previous Democrat administrations. You know, everybody that was a constitutional nationalist was a damn domestic terrorist. You know, freaking even Maduro, narco terrorist. Even though we've shown demonstrably over and over that CIA was working with the Mexican or the Venezuelan army to smuggle the drugs. There was no proof that Maduro had a direct hand in it. All right, no, there was no more proof that Maduro had a direct hand in it than they had in Marco Rubio's brother being a drug kingpin here in Florida. Okay, yep. Marco Rubio's family is involved in drug trafficking. So basically what it comes down to is you can only get the drug traffic if you are part of the right faction. All right, that's basically what they're saying. But even the charges that they gave for Rubio or to Maduro for BS, they don't ship fentanyl. The cocaine, all right, let's just give it a maybe. But then they even throw in possession of machine guns, which, dude, he's the president of a foreign country. How the hell does our laws have anything to do with Venezuela? You know, all of it is basically. It's just basically a bunch of they're stirring up the public because they're too stupid to think for themselves, so that to allow them to go do whatever they want. And I'm not saying that Trump is the first guy to do this. I mean, this is going all the way. How many of our presidents haven't sidestepped the War Powers Act in order to attack somebody? You know,
they did that to themselves by passing the NDAA. They did that to themselves.
Yeah, but again, we're talking also about the Monroe Doctrine as well.
Well, you know, first of all, wait, hold up. When it comes to Congress doesn't need to be notified unless it's an act of war. Nobody's called for a war. Vietnam wasn't even a war. Okay.
An attack on a foreign country is an act of war. If China came and fucking bombed Washington D.C., that would be an act of war.
That's why they're trying to sell it as a law enforcement issue with the indictment.
When you declare war, there's a difference between an act of war and declaring war. When you officially declare war, that is when you need the approval of Congress. I hear people saying that all the time. Like, we had the Vietnam War, which the United States never declared a war. It was what they considered a police action.
Police act. You get the United Nations started the whole damn shit.
I was going to say, we had boots on ground in Syria. We never freaking declared war.
Right.
We've done it over and over again in many different ways. Never so clean as what was done in Venezuela. That was pretty clean. But on the other side of that, again, due to the NDAA, and again, this is something I have blown up about a million times on this show. I have discussed it. I have said, people, we are retarded. We're allowing them to pass a law, and of course, it was passed in the I guess you could say, the linked arms of both parties, because it gives them a blank slate to pretty much do whatever the hell they want. But every time they re-up it, it's always a 99 to 100% ratio of Congress. It's the one thing they bipartisanly agree on every time is the NDAA. Under the NDAA, is the initial review and then the additive view is defined narcoterrorism. And it gives them free reign to do whatever they want if you're declared a narco-terrorist.
Yep.
And sure enough, what did they declare Maduro? A narco-terrorist. They indicted him as a narco-terrorist. So now you've got an LEO aspect to it, as well as the NDAA backing up the president. And the Democrats really can't say shit about that, excuse the language, Mark, because honestly, they used the NDAA to take in the J6 people and hold them without charges for years. That was under the NDAA because they were what? They were terrorists. By declaration.
Well, if you want to get technical about it with what they were doing here recently, Trump came out and said straight up, it's like from this point on, anybody who's a drug trafficker is considered a terrorist. They were planning this way back.
Yep, exactly.
And when you talk about countries that really need attention besides Venezuela, let's talk about Brazil. Let's talk about how much trade they've got going out with China in just soybeans.
Yep.
You know?
And again, it's how much trade do we have going out with China? I keep saying that. We keep saying China, 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 yet here we export all of our Purdue chicken to China to be processed and sold back to us by China after they touched our food. Yeah, that's great. That's real good idea. Real smart. Brainiac thinking right there, let me tell you.
Sprinkle some poisonous drugs on it.
Yeah, and then you wonder why we're having all these like warnings, these recalls with like really insidious crap in the food that's being recalled. And it's like, well, wonder why that's happening. I don't know. It's been out processed. Has it been sent to another country to be processed and sold back to us? I mean, what the hell? Are we retarded? Are we open for bioterrorism today? Is that what's going on? I mean, it's like
because they don't have any regulations, do they?
No, it's not even that they don't.
It's just they want.
Unbelievable the stupidity involved here, and it can't be seen as anything but purposeful stupidity. Because I don't know anybody in their right mind who would process their food products, their meat. Food products to a country on the other side of the world. Literally, that's a hell of a flight. I hope they're freeze drying those things all the way over to the other side of the world to process them. So if they're freeze drying them with all their internal organs. That's an awesome idea. All the way over there.
Have some salmonella. Yeah.
And then let's fly it all the way back to sit in our supermarkets for God knows how long to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. It makes no sense.
Sorry,
but it's fresh, Nancy. It's fresh.
I went down to my local supermarket only yesterday, and in one of the freezers, I just had to look at something. I think it was some chicken strip or something, and it stated on the front of the pack or back of the packet, produced and manufactured in Thailand.
Oh,
manufactured?
Yeah,
fresh from England.
Yeah.
Well, and I got to tell you guys,
produced.
I think Trump turning the triangle upside down. I thought that again. One of my first thoughts was, well, he just cock blocked Bill Gates with his damn 3D printed meat. I mean, although in Florida it's banned. You cannot buy Bill Gates meat products in Florida at all.
Mark said that we are all fired.
We have done some pretty good things here in Florida. We've got, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Ron DeSantis put up for president in 2028 by the Republicans, because he's done some damn good things here. Things that I would not have expected. It's like he came back from the presidential run and really locked down. I mean, he banned the chemtrails. He's banned the artificial meats. He has banned the vaccines. They're working on
Bitcoin. The computer,
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
The digital currencies. Plus, now he's banning
Bitcoins. Is that what you just said?
He's not banning Bitcoin. He's banning it from becoming basically a primary currency within.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But they put it in now. Didn't he sign the executive order for we're able to use gold and silver?
Yes, that was what I was going to say next.
Yeah,
he has made gold and silver legal tender in the state of Florida.
Right.
And on top of that, basically I told you guys they got rid of most of the vaccines in Florida, and they are working now to get it through where vaccines are not no vaccines are mandatory in the state of Florida. So he's doing big moves here.
Yeah, huge.
And really huge. And it's like, wow, okay, so again, you got Trump in Mar-a-Lago, which is, again, Floridian. You've got DeSantis making all these huge moves, and Trump is kind of following sync slower, but in different ways.
He did something. Can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
They seem to mess this up, and censorship sucks, and I want to clarify this. And I keep saying it, and everybody doesn't seem to understand this, okay? A person can run for president as many times as they want. They just cannot run after 2 consecutive, keyword consecutive terms.
Yep.
Okay.
So he can go for another term.
Right. He doesn't even have to have approval or anything. He had a break in between the first run, and now he can do 2 terms
back to back. So. Which is why I think the Democrats are pushing his health, which I think is hysterical.
That is
funny. The other side of things too is that he pulled us out of, I think it was 66 international organizations in the UN. So
we don't want any part of them.
He's making huge moves and very quickly. It's like we went into the new year and all of a sudden, bam, 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 all these things we've been waiting to happen for a decade now. We're seeing these moves happening at a very, very fast pace. And like I said to you, Vicky, you're seeing it the way I'm seeing it as well. Yep, this is exactly what we were told was going to happen. Once it started, it was going to come in rapid fire.
Right.
And it was going to be basically.
I still say his ass is on fire, though, because, have you seen those redacted files they've got on the Epstein? It's a joke. They've got so much redaction on there, it's pathetic. And
I think that, again, I think you're going to be surprised, because I read the original articles where he turned state's witness against Epstein in his first trial. Okay, these articles were dated to the early 2000s.
I'm not even bringing that up. I'm just talking about the redactions. I mean, there's more redactions on that file than there was on JFK.
But I think Pam Bondi, I really think Pam Bondi is going to be one of the people that goes down.
Yeah,
her, Marco Rubio. There's a couple of them, because I think she's being outed. She never filed the charges on the J6 committee. Those charges expired on January 6th this year. It was 5-year limitation.
Oh.
I thought they didn't.
Oh, no, they expired.
Different things.
Yeah, no, they expired as of January 6th. It was exactly 5 years from the date of the initial thing.
And what she's being accused of.
Yes. And I know your husband's background.
It's that's the reason he's in this mess.
Yep. And so, I mean, I really think she's being outed by her lack of action. And it's becoming very obvious to those of us who are watching that, okay, so you basically just shook off. You let them get away with it, unless you wrap it into murder when it comes to Ashley Babbitt. Unless you're going to go that route, because there is no statute on murder. But okay, we're going to go there. And I noticed the White House posted literally on the anniversary. They posted the video of Nancy Pelosi admitting it was her fault that the National Guard wasn't there. Yeah, they did. It's on the White House website. You can go find it. I was like, oh, yep, it's the actual video of her in her limo admitting that it was her fault that the National Guard didn't come in. So there's that. But it's like I said, little things are happening, but I
still haven't seen Hillary Clinton locked up yet. Once I see Hillary
He said
Clinton
the
behind
first
bars,
arrest.
He must have been the one.
First arrest might have been Maduro.
it should have been
Brennan and
I mean,
Brennan
that's
and
what-
Comey and
I don't know, guys.
Struck
I still go the opposite direction with the first arrest. I'm wondering if it might be somebody like Elon Musk.
Hillary
Honestly.
Clinton.
I think it's
Well,
going to be something that jars people where they're like, it's a shock. We expect Hillary Clinton. We expect Tony Podesta. These are names that we expect. And most people in any kind of newsworthy range or earshot of news would expect those arrests.
Trump
Okay.
loves Elon though, dude. Like they bicker and fight, and Elon gets a black eye. But dude,
I don't think it would be-
they
It's a
love
show.
each other.
I don't think it would. I was going to say, I don't think it would be Trump that
Kayfabe.
arrests him. I think he might get arrested by another country. I don't think it's going to be a U.S. arrest.
Well,
I
you
just
know,
have this feeling.
Well,
I can
didn't,
just
wasn't there
imagine
just a
Trump coming
post?
into
that
the UK
said-
and get arrested just like that.
Can you
Oh,
imagine
guys, I'm
Trump?
looking at the
Weren't
time.
there
Wait,
posts-
whoa! I'm looking at the time, guys. I gotta end the show. We're at 10:55 already. Holy crap!
Yep.
I did it again.
Yep.
All right, folks. I
Okay,
am out of
Steven.
here for the night. I gotta make it quick, or else Mark's gonna kill me. On behalf of everybody, good evening. Have a great night. We'll talk to y'all next Wednesday. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more stuff to talk about. Sorry, it's been a little bit of a cluster, but it's been a crazy week. See y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat station for the Vixen's Vault. We're out of here.
Primary objective successful. Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.